Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Today the Hungry Gamer is back with another mini preview, and today we're talking about Role Player Adventures Gulpax's Secret. Or Secrets of Gulpax. I don't actually have. I know you're shocked. This isn't actually a box here I can grab, so that went in post. But whatever. The first expansion to, well, I guess major standalone expansion to Role Player Adventures. Now, I'm not going to dive way into what Role Player Adventures is. I do have another video about Role Player Adventures, which you can check it out. But major story-based game where you are going through this huge kind of choose-your-own-adventure, multi-story campaign. And you're taking a character, which you may have made just playing regular role player, and you're running through the scenario. And as you're doing it, you're building up your stats like you do in any good role-playing game type thing. But the core of the game is you're going to be making these choices through an adventure. And as you go through, you'll be finding cards or items that will be cards that are hidden, or you'll be getting titles, you'll be getting keywords, basically, that you're going to be able to use that are going to change your experience. Maybe you sided with the ogre at the beginning, and then way later in the game it'll say, do you have the title Ogre Friend? And if you do, one thing will happen. If you have the title Enemy of the Ogres, another thing will happen. But these are going to play out way down the road as you're going through. But the core of it is, you're all going to have a set of number of dice you're going to be able to get, and you'll have some ability to choose the colors of these dice, and you'll be pulling the dice out of a bag and rolling them. And to beat bad guys you're fighting or pass tests, there will be certain combinations of numbers and colors that you have to get out onto that test board or that enemy card. And to do that, you're going to roll those dice, and then you're going to be playing cards out of your hand to adjust those dice. You might be changing the colors of the dice. You might be adding new dice out from the bag. Maybe it's a random die. Maybe you're getting to pick what color it is. Maybe you are flipping the die so a 6 becomes a 1. Maybe you're playing a card that raises or lowers the number on the die by 1 or 2, and so on and so on. So you get the idea. And if you're able to cover everything in the set amount of rounds you get, hooray, good for you. You managed to succeed on that and you'll move forward. And if you don't succeed on that, hooray, good for you. You're still going to move forward, just with some kind of penalties or some kind of change in the story down the line. You get a different keyword. And that's kind of how it works. I put a little bit up there that you were seeing from the video I did about Role Player Adventures. Now, the expansion, what that's doing is it's more of the same. It's a brand new story. It's a prequel to the story that you already played, like 1,000 years, 2,000 years in the prehistory. And it's done a little bit different, though. And the changes that it's made is it's mostly taken the big expansion you could have gotten in the first game, which is all of these backstories that you could take, and each of these backstories linked into the campaign if you had it, and that's how that worked. Well, it's kind of taken those and narrowed it down to, I think, 8 or 10 different backstories that each character can have, and it's given them abilities that go along with it, the abilities that you're going to be able to use throughout the game. They're all unique, whereas in the other one you would get cards that you could play just like any other card, but now there's different abilities that as you do things like they'll charge up maybe, or whatever. But each of these is now baked into the story proper. So you will know at the beginning that you are an engineer, whatever. And there'll be times to say, if any of you is an engineer, go to this one instead. And so it's taken that expansion, which if you watch my previous video, you know I thought the expansion was absolutely necessary, and it's kind of baked it into the game. So, what do I like about this expansion? Well, again, if you like the original and the story and the way that played, you're going to like the new one. It is as good as the previous one. Now, the only big significant change I'm going to talk about, well, there's 2 changes. One, there's also, you get allies more. At the very end of the original role players, you would get allies that would be out there helping you in the form of cards that were there. Well, that's more prevalent in the expansion from the very beginning of the game. But the big thing is this change where they bake in these backstories into the game. You don't have to have another box. You don't have to buy something else. It's already there. And I like that. Initially, my thought was, well, you know, the first one had 26 different stories. Man, you're not going to play all 26. Get out of here with that nonsense. Like, you know, you might have played through Role Player Adventures twice, maybe 3 times. And if you played through it 3 times with maximum characters, which I think is 4, you would have gotten through 12 of those backstories. So there's a, I don't think most, you can tell me I'm an idiot down in the comments, but you probably weren't getting through all of them. So there's not as many of them, but I think they're better integrated into the story than they were before. And again, I liked them a lot before. I think the abilities that they come with are more interesting than they were before. So what are my quibbles with the game? Now, to be fair, I've played all of Role Player Adventures, the original. I've only gotten to sit down with the developer, John Brieger, and play through one entire scenario and talk with him about what's going on. Please keep that in mind. However, I don't know that they solved the problem of the game being easy. Now, there is a change to the way resting works, which does make it a little bit harder. So there is that. But I don't know that it solves the entire thing that I played the game more for the story and what I was doing than the challenge. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun. We're chucking the dice and adjusting them and getting them to where you need it to be, and the stressful moments at the end, like, oh, can I do it? Can I do it? Yeah, I can do it. I love it. But it wasn't hard. I do think it is harder. I don't know that is something that you're going to say, oh, this is a real challenge. Now, of course, there are different modes you can turn on, hard mode, legendary, whatever they call it. But just something to keep in mind. This is still not a game that I think is going to be hard. But really, that's it, folks. I think if you liked the original Role Player Adventures, then you will like the expansion, period. I think it addresses some of the more fiddly bits, whereas you had to have a whole other book that you had to open to go through the story. It's baked in. I think that's better. I think the change to the rest mechanic is for the good, if not a bit more challenging. And I really like the way the new background abilities work. But again, if you didn't like the original Role Play Adventures at all, this is not going to change your mind. This is just something that's the next step in the evolution of Role Player Adventures. For me, I think it's fun. I'm going to enjoy playing it when it delivers, whenever that may be. And I think, again, if you like the original Role Player Adventures, you're going to like this one as well. So there you have it, folks. That is Role Player Adventures Gulpax's Secret, or The Secret of Gulpax. Again, not looking at a box. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.